Hi, this is coordinate geometry topic to be discussed for the net, and I believe this is one of the last topics in the net. And I've tried to touch a bit of functions in here, um, topics under the functions like equation of a circle, parabola. I'm not yet got into detail, so after this, I'll be moving on to pre-calculus topics, yeah, which will not be under the playlist of UGC net. Yes, there'll be a separate playlist for this. It'll probably be under the channel of Math Spider, that is Brandy Spider channel. Yes, and it'll cover the functions and pre-cal topics. So corner geometry, let's begin with it. All those who want a detailed review, this is the right place. Um, Obviously, I'll be discussing the worksheet. So those who are already good with their corner geometry, you can practice the worksheet given in the description of this video, and then come on to this video for the explanations. So first one in corner geometry is the midpoint. So if you've got 2 points A, B, yeah, with coordinates, let's say A1, B1, and A2, B2, then your A is equal to A1 plus A2 by 2, and B is equal to B1 plus B2 by 2. That's the midpoint out here. So for example, it is 5 and 6, and this is 6 and 8. Then the average of 5 plus 6, which is 5.5, will come here. And the average of 6 plus 8, which is 14, by 2 will come here. So your A and B are nothing but 5.5 and 7. That's a midpoint. Similarly, if you have to find the distance between 5, 6 and 6, 8, yeah, you can use this one. So you got to remember this is more like x1, y1 and x2, y2. So when you do x2 minus x1, it'll be 6 minus 5, the whole thing squared. Yeah. And under root 8 plus y2 minus y1 will be 8 minus 6, the whole thing squared. So what you end up getting is root of 1 square, that is 1, and 2 square, which is 4. So that's root of 5, the distance between these 2 points, A and B. And the slope, if you want to find out the slope, it is nothing but y2 minus y1, that is 8 minus 6 upon 6 minus 5. So that is 2. The slope is 2, 2 by 1. Also, this particular thing about the slopes, product of the slopes of two perpendicular lines is always equal to minus 1. So suppose you've got, let's say, an equation of a line y is equal to 4x plus 3. Yeah, right? This is your slope, m. Yeah, let's call it m1. Then, if there is a line, so this one is 4x plus 3, where 3 is the y-intercept, and this is how it is, 4x plus 3, correct? That's your equation of this line. So if you have a line perpendicular to this one, so let's call it that one out here, like this. Then to find out the equation is a different story, yeah. But because you'll need to know the y-intercept out here. If you pass it through this, then you know the y-intercept is 3. But let's just talk about this line. So if it's this line, then you can know that the slope m2 will be equal to negative 1 by. That's what this says. Where's it from? That one. So your m1 is 4, yeah. So m1 into m2 is equal to negative 1. Therefore, 4 into m2 is equal to negative 1. Therefore, m2 is equal to negative 1 by. So that's what the slope is. Yeah, the slope of this green line. equation of a circle. This should actually be under the functions topic, but I'll just discuss it with you. So let's just say that you have an equation which is x minus 3 the whole thing squared plus y minus 2 the whole thing squared is equal to 16. Then h and k represents the center of the circle. So h and k out here is nothing but 3 and 2. So at 3 and at 2, you have your center of the circle with radius 4 because r square is 16. So r square is 4 square. So radius is 4. So 4 units, you take a 4-unit circle like that. Understood? Where this is the center 3 and 2. Okay? And that's the radius 4. So if it is plus 3, then in that case, minus of h is plus of 3. Minus of h is plus of 3. Therefore, h is negative 3. So in that case, the 3 won't be here, but it'll be negative 3 out here. So the center would be out here then. Got it? Minus of k is minus 2. Minus of k is minus 2. Therefore, k is 2. So that's fine. K is 2. So that's how you work it out. Okay. Anyway, and that's the perpendicular distance between two parallel lines. The shortest distance is also known as the perpendicular distance between two parallel lines. Okay, listen, let's move on now because I'm going to discuss this perpendicular distance question in the worksheet. So this is the worksheet. Let's begin with it. First question. If a line A with equation y is equal to 4x plus 7 intersects another line with equation y is equal to 9x minus 2, then find the coordinates of the point of intersection. Now, those who do not know this, you'll be surprised that when you solve your simultaneous equations, yeah, and the value of x and y that you get is nothing but the point of intersection. It's nothing but the coordinates of the point of intersection. So point of intersection out here simply means the solutions of the simultaneous equations, y equal to 4x plus 7 and y equal to 9x minus 2. So I'm going to use substitution. I'm going to substitute this in here. So I get 4x plus 7 is equal to 9x minus 2. So I got 5x here and 9 out here. So 9 by 5 is equal to x. Okay. Yeah. And therefore y is, find the coordinates. So x value is 9 by 5. And therefore the value of y is equal to 9 into 9 by 5. Yeah, because x is 9 by 5 minus 2. So that's 81 by 5 minus 2. So that's 81 minus 10 by 5. That's 71 by 5. So the value of y is 71 by 5. And those are my coordinates. Yeah. So that was a very basic question to begin with, a refresher kind of question. Now, if two lines have infinite solutions, then which of the following is true? So see, the first one, the lines have the same slope but different y-intercepts. It simply means it is parallel, like that. All right. So when the lines have the same slope but the same y-intercepts, that means the lines are coincident. That means the equations are also the same. So it'd be like 2y is equal to 8x plus 6. Now, if you see these two lines, yeah, these two equations are identical. If you multiply the second one by 2, you'll get the same thing as the first one. So if two lines have infinite solutions, then which of the following is true? If they have infinite solutions, then the lines are overlapping each other. They are coincident to each other. It means that the equations are identical. Something like this. And because they're identical, they're overlapping in each and every point, and hence they're infinite solutions. Right? So lines are parallel to each other? No. This parallel to each other, this is also the parallel to each other. This is another way to say parallel to each other. Same slope, different y-intercepts means it's parallel to each other. The lines do not intersect with each other. If the lines do not intersect with each other, then they're parallel to each other. So A, B, and D is the same thing. So out of elimination also, you'd have got C as the answer. right? Third one. If two lines have no solution, then obviously they are parallel to each other, which of the following is true. The lines have the same slope and the same y-intercept. That is the coincident part, right? Lines have the same slope but different y-intercepts. So that's your answer. B is your answer. Yeah. The lines are coincident is out because they will have infinite solutions. Lines are perpendicular to each other is also out because they'll have exactly one solution. All right. So when two lines intersect each other at only one point, then they have only one solution, right? And usually the solution out here means the value of x, right? Usually. Fourth one. What is the shortest length between two parallel lines represented by the equations? So this is the perpendicular distance one. So I want to discuss this in detail because what if you forgot the formula? And then how do you get it? So I'm going to solve it without the formula and with the formula. So first I'll do it with the formula. Yeah. Okay. So the formula is, see, perpendicular distance is equal to mod of C1 minus C2 upon root of 1 plus m square. Okay. So C1 is 7 and C2 is this 7 minus of minus 5 is plus 12. Yeah. Upon root of 1 plus slope is the same. So 16. So your answer is 12 upon root 17. Okay. That's your answer. Yeah. And there's another formula also that the perpendicular distance is mod of C1 minus C2 upon root of a square plus b square. So what is this a square plus b square? So ax plus by equal to c in this form. So this very equation, yeah, if it's written in ax plus by form, then it will be more like minus 4x minus y equal to 5. Okay, that 4x, y will come this side, 5 will go that side. So 4x minus y equal to 5. So if you see the a is 4, which is 4 square, 16 we got, and b is negative 1. So negative 1, the whole thing squared is also 1. So 16. So you'll end up getting the same answer. Yeah, you end up getting the same answer, right? So yeah. So I usually stick to the y equal to mx plus c form. It's neat. Yeah. And it's easy to use this formula, getting confused with a and b. Anyway, so moving back to solving it without the formula. So our answer is 12 by root 17. So how do we go about getting to the answer? So that's the part which I was going to discuss during the review part. Yeah. But I said let's not waste time. Let's just get to the question out here. So we have y is equal to 4x minus 5. So we have minus 5 out here and plus 7 out here. So we have two lines. Let's show them in red. So one is 4x minus 5. Yeah, like that. And the other one is 4x plus 7, like that. Okay, so these are the two lines. Now, using a blue color, I'm gonna use a perpendicular like this. Yes, that's a perpendicular part. And now we do the math. So that's a perpendicular line. Equation of this line is y is equal to 4x plus 7. Equation of this line is y is equal to 4x minus 5. Okay. Now, remember the product of the slopes of two perpendicular lines is negative 1. So if this is perpendicular to these two, yeah, then obviously the slope of this line m is negative 1 by 4. And using that y is equal to mx plus c, yeah, slope is what? Negative 1 by 4x. And the c part is obviously 9. This blue line has the 7. 7 as the y-intercept, right? Yeah. So I'll use 7. So I've got my equation of this blue line. Yes. Now I already know the coordinates of this point is 0, 7. I need to find out the coordinates of this point out here. Correct. So therefore, this equation, I'm going to use it with the second line equation, 4x minus 5. Solve them simultaneously and I'll get my x and y points out here. Once I get that, I use a distance formula to get this answer. So let's solve this first. 4x minus 5 is equal to negative 1 by 4x plus 7. So what I get is 4 1/4 x is equal to 7 plus 5, which is 12. So that is 16, and 17 by x by 4 is equal to 12. So therefore I get x is equal to 48 by 17. Once I get x is equal to 48 by 17, I'll get the value of y. Y is 4 into 48 by 17, correct? Yeah, and minus 5, correct? So therefore it is 17 here, 4 into 48 minus 85. Now 4 into 48 is 96 plus 96, 180, 192 minus 85. Yeah, so I get 7 and 107. No, yeah, okay, right. So 107 by 17 is my value of y, correct? And now I'll use the distance formula. So distance formula is 7 minus 107 by 17, whole thing squared, plus 0 minus 48 by 17, which is 48 by 17, whatever, minus squared, okay, and under root the whole thing. So therefore I get 17, yeah, and 17 sevens are, so 85 plus 34. 85 plus 34 is 119. So 119 minus 107, correct? The whole thing squared. And then this is, I'll just leave it as 48 square upon 17 square for the time being, yeah. Okay. So 119 minus 107 is 12, yeah. So I get 12 upon 17 squared plus 48 square upon 17 square under root the whole thing. So now out here, 17 square is common, right? So 17 square is common. Out here I get 12 square plus 48 square. Now 48 square I can write it down as, yeah, 12 square into 4 square. That's 12 square into 4 square, 48 square upon 17. Right. I don't have enough space to write, so I'm just going to overlap now. Yeah. Put it out here. Okay. So this is equal to root of 12 square. Yeah. In bracket 1 plus 4 square. The whole thing upon 17 square. What the 17? Okay. So that 1 by 17 comes out and you got root of 12 square into 17. Correct? Yeah. Yeah. So maybe I should have left the 17 square inside so that the 117 and 17 cancels. So what I get is 12 square, right? Root of upon 17. So then I get root of 12 square upon root of 17, and root of 12 square is 12 upon root of 17, and that's my answer out here. So you save a lot of calculations basically, yeah, by using the formula. Okay, you can pause it and look at it. I'm just moving on to the question number 5. Right. Lines with equation y equal to 8x minus 2 will not lie in which quadrant? So see guys, draw the y and x axis, and 8 is a positive slope, right? Probably a steeper one. It's going to go like this. But the y-intercept is -2, so it's somewhere out here. -2 is out here. So you can use this and draw a steep line passing through -2 like this. Okay. So any which way, you come to know that it passes through the first, third, and the fourth quadrant, right? So line with equation y equal to 8x minus 2 will not lie in which quadrant? It will not lie in the second quadrant. And that is clearly you can make out. If you have not drawn a steep line, let's say you just draw a flatter, less steeper slope, it yet goes to the first, third, and the fourth quadrant, doesn't go to the second quadrant. So your answer is second quadrant. Okay. Second quadrant. Yeah. Question number 6. Equation of circle is given by this, where hk represents coordinates of the center of the circle, r represents the radius. So I've already discussed this part. So if a circle with equation this intersects a line with this, then find the solution. So basically, you just have to substitute the value of y in here and get your answer. Okay. So let's just first draw it. So this one has it's an equation of circle where hk represents the center of the circle. So h is 3 and the k is 0. So clearly out here, the center of the circle is at on the x-axis, 3, 0. Correct. And you have a radius of 9. So where 6, radius is 9, right? So it's going to be a big circle, right? So probably, something like this. Yeah. So, and this line is y is equal to x plus 6. Very simple straight line, x plus 6. So it's going like this. This is 6, yeah. Y is equal to x plus 6. Slope is 1. So at this point and this point, you'll have two solutions. Are you with me? Yeah. So this point and this point, you'll have two solutions, and the x values is what we are looking at. Okay. Yeah. So now we simply use algebra to get to the answer. Okay. Right. So y is x plus 6. If I rewrite this one, yeah. So y is x plus 6. Substitute that in here. So x square minus 6x plus 9 plus y square, I'm writing as x plus 6, the whole thing square, is equal to 81. So x square minus 6x plus 9 plus x square plus 12x plus 36 is equal to 81. So x square and x square gives me 2x square. Minus 6x plus 12x gives me plus 6x. 9 and 36 gives me 45 is equal to 81. So 2x square plus 6x, yeah. And my plus 45 and 81 is 36 on this side. So minus 36 is equal to 0. Now the entire thing I can divide by 2. So I get x square plus 3x minus 18 is equal to 0. And use the product sum method. So negative 18, I need to find two numbers which will multiply to negative 18, add up to 3. So obviously it is 6 plus 6 and negative 3. Plus 6 and negative 3 multiplies to negative 18, and adding it gives me plus 3, right? Yeah. So that's it. I'll flip the sign. Yeah. And therefore the values of x I get is negative 6 and plus 3. So these are two values of x, or the solutions, right? 7. Find the common area of the regions represented by the inequalities. Okay. So again, draw your y and x axis. Yeah. And remember, equation of the y axis is x equal to 0. Equation of the x axis is y is equal to 0. So when I say x is between 0 and 4, so that means 0 is out here, 4 is out here. That means you have, I'll draw it in red. This entire x value, including the lines, y axis and, yeah, this entire thing. Yeah, so I'm gonna I'm not going to draw the y-axis because it's understood. It's a black line and the red line, everything in between. And the y values are the horizontal portion, so 0 to 8. So then I'll say this is in blue, I'll draw it. Let's say this is 8. Yeah. So this entire thing, including the line. Yeah. So again, I'm not drawing the axis. So this region is the common region represented by this inequality. Okay. Yeah. So the area is 4 units here and 8 units here. It's a rectangle with 32 square units. So you'll have these small squares. You can look it up on a graph paper if you like. Question 8. Similarly, find the area of the triangle formed when x is greater than 0, y is greater than 0, and y is less than minus 3x plus 4. So again, see, draw the x and y axis. Yeah. Okay. Now in red, I'm going to draw the line. So first, you need to draw the line represented by the equation, not the inequality. So less than, make it equal to, and understand. So we have 4 somewhere here. Yeah. And -3. So it'll be a steep line like this. That's your line. And when they say less than, that means the region below it like this. And this is x greater than 0. So x greater than 0, I'll just draw it with a lighter color, like a, this light color I'll draw. X greater than 0 is everything out here. Yeah. Everything on the right side of the y-axis. And y greater than 0 is everything on the upside of the x-axis, like this. So now, find the area of the triangle formed when this is greater than 0, this is greater than 0, y. So obviously they're talking about this region out here. And this region, we know this is 4. Yeah. Because of this. And we need to figure out this. So this is the x-intercept. So we'll get the x-intercept when you plug in y as 0. So first you write down it as a normal equation rather than an inequality. Remove the inequality, put an equal to sign, and make y 0, because on this point, you have some x value and y is 0. So make y 0, and then simply calculate the value of x. So you got 3x is equal to 4. So x is equal to 4 by 3, correct? And that's it. So this portion is 4 by 3. This portion is 4. Yeah. And the area of the triangle is half base into height. So half base is 4 by 3 and the height is 4. So 2 goes into this 2 times. So you got 8 by 3 square units. Got it? Yeah. Ninth one. If a line with equation y equal to 4x plus 8 perpendicularly intersects another line at the point 112, then find the equation of the other line. So again, we'll use y-axis, x-axis, yeah, and we have y equal to 4x plus 8. So let this be 2, 4, yeah, 6, 8, right, 10 and 12 right on the top. Okay. So then y is equal to 4x plus 8. So we have 2, let's call this 4, okay. Sorry. Let's call this 4, 8, 12, like that, okay. Yeah. Use a different color. So this is your 4, y is equal to 4x plus 8. So it's a steep slope. Yeah. Yeah, 4x. So somewhat like this. Yeah, you got this line. So if a line with equation this perpendicularly intersects, my bad, I have to draw it at y-intercept, right? Yeah, that one. Yeah, right. Perpendicularly intersects another line at point 112. 112. So at 112, meaning if this is your 1, this is at 112 out here, 112. So it's perpendicularly intersecting. So let's draw it with another color. So this is perpendicular like that. Okay. Another line at point 112, then find the equation of the other line. So this line, yeah, we know it is intersecting at 112. So y is equal to mx plus c. We are trying to figure out the equation of this line, right? That's what they ask. So y is equal to, we know that when we have this equation as y is equal to 4x plus 8, and a line perpendicular to this will have equation minus 1 by 4x. Minus 1 by 4 is a slope, right? Using product of the slopes of perpendicular lines is equal to -1. So we simply take the reciprocal and negative. So y is equal to, so basically slope is -1 by 4. So put the x and then plus c, and we know that this line, yeah, intersects at 112. So I'll use the value of y as 12 and the value of x as 1 plus c, and that gives me the c value. So 12 is equal to -1 by 4 plus c. So 12, 1 by 4 is equal to c, correct? Yeah. This is the same thing as 12 plus 1 by 4. Okay. So if you're wondering why I've written it this way, so it's just a way to write it down. Yeah. Equal to. So that's 48 plus 1, 49 by c. So c is 49 by c. So y is equal to -1 by 4x. And we have 49 by 4. C is 49 by 4. Now this one I can multiply by 4 throughout. So I get 4y is equal to -x plus 49. And so I can rewrite it down as x plus 4y is equal to 49. That's the equation of the line. You can write it on this way or this way, whatever you prefer. Yeah. 10th. Find the equation of the line passing through the points 9, 4, and 4 minus 1. So again, coming down to the basics. So first, y is equal to mx plus c. This is a general equation, slope intercept form. We find out the slope, y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So slope out here is -5, -4. If I'm using this as x1, y1, and x2, y2. Yeah, upon x2 minus x1 is 4 minus 9. So I've got -9 upon -5. Yeah, which is 9 by 5 is my slope. So y is equal to 9 by 5x plus c. Now to calculate c, I'll use any one of these points. I'll use 9 and 4. So 4 is y and 9 by 5 into 4 is x, yeah, plus c. So therefore c is 4 minus 36 by 5 is c. So that's 20 minus 36, yeah, is c. So that is minus 16 by 5. So therefore my equation becomes, this equation becomes y is equal to 9 by 5x minus 16 by 5. Now if I multiply by 5 throughout, then I get 5y is equal to 9x minus 16. Or 9x minus 5y is equal to 16. Either you write it down this way or that way. Any one way, okay? So that's the equation of the line passing through these points. All right. Question 11. Find the equation of a line passing through the center of the circle with equation this and the origin. So origin is always 0, 0, right? So another asking you to find out the equation of a line passing through 2 points. So very basic question. Yeah. So you have 1.00 and out here the center is HK, which is 4, -7. So line passing through these 2 points. So the slope is -7 -0, yeah, upon 4 -0. That is your mx, right? Y is equal to mx, so x. And there is no c. Why there's no c? Because it's passing through the origin. So your y-intercept is 0. So therefore, your answer is y is equal to -7/4 x. That's your equation. Yeah. So those who have not understood this part have simply just, skipped a step. That is this step. y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. After finding this one, which is -7/4, I would plug it in here, right? Mx plus c, right? So that c is 0 already. So m is this value. Yeah, that's it. So I've just skipped the step and wrote down the value of m directly in there, just in case if you got confused. Okay, fill in the blanks. If a line passes through the quadrants 1, 2, and 3, then the gradient of the line. See, the word gradient of the line means the slope. Okay, don't get confused. So if you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let me use another color. So suppose the line is passing through like this. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. Then the gradient of the line is positive. It has a positive slope. Remember, the angle should be acute, lesser than 90 degrees with the x-axis. If it's obtuse, then it is negative. If it's acute, it's positive. So the answer is positive. Yeah. If a line is parallel to the x-axis, then the slope is 0. Horizontal lines have zero slope. If a line is parallel to the y-axis, then the slope is undefined or infinite, whatever you prefer. Both are correct. Or infinite, infinity. Yeah. If the product of x and y intercepts is positive, then the orientation of the line. So orientation of the line is slope of the line. Okay. Orientation means slope of the line. Okay. Gradient means slope of the line. Same thing. So slope, gradient, orientation in coordinate geometry, they mean the same thing. So out here, this is your y-intercept. This is your x-intercept. They both are positive. So if you see, if the product of x and y-intercepts is positive, so if a line has both y-intercept positive, x-intercept positive, then it has a negative slope. So answer is negative. Okay. Yeah. A parabola represented by quadratic equation is on an xy plane has c at its y-intercept when x is obviously 0. So see, y-intercepts are always when y-intercepts are always on the y-axis. So on the y-axis, remember, the coordinates are 0 and some y value. The 0 part is the x. So when x is 0, you always get your y-intercept. Okay. So that's it for the question number 12. Last three questions, 13, 14, 15. Okay, 13th one. If a parabola with equation this passes through a line with equation this, then find the coordinates of their point of intersection. So this time they are not only asking for the x value, but also the y value. So simply just use the substitution. Yeah, 3x plus 8 is equal to -2x square minus x plus 6. Solve it. Yeah. So 3x, this is x, looks like, okay, it's x. 3x and this minus x goes there, becomes 4x. Yeah. And then plus 8 and 6, so you get plus 2. These two out is equal to -2x square. So -2x square, if I take it on this side, becomes positive 2x square, right? Yeah, is equal to 0. Now divide the entire thing by 2. If I divide the entire thing by 2, what I realize is I get a perfect square. What do you mean by perfect square? X plus 1, the whole thing squared is 0, right? So I don't even need to solve it quadratic. I mean, the sum product sum method. Yeah. I know my answer will be -1 because only -1 in this square will give me 0. So x is -1. Once x is -1, then your y value is 5. You can use any of this. Even if you plug in -1 out here, yeah, you'll end up getting -2 plus 2, yeah, plus 6, right? I'm sorry, plus 1, plus 1. So you'll get 7 minus 2, 5. Out here, -1, -3 plus 8, 5. Okay, so the find the coordinates of the point of intersection. So the point of intersection is going to be at -1 and 5. Question 14. If a vertex of a parabola is defined by hk, where so vertex out here means when you have a parabola, this lowest point is called the vertex hk. Okay, or when it's inverted parabola, this highest point is called the hk. All right, that's the vertex. Is represented in this form. So the quadratic equation can also be represented in this vertex form. This is called the general form, ax square plus bx plus c. Now some books call this the general form, the vertex form. They call it the general form, and this form they just call it as the quadratic form. All right. But for me, I'll call this as general form. Why I'm calling this as general form? Because this is how I've learned it in my school. All right. And this is called the vertex form clearly because out here, yeah, you can't call this the general form because this is the vertex form. Yeah. Because it gives you the h and k values as your vertex. Then find the x-intercepts of a parabola with equation y equal to this. So basically, on an xy plane, yeah, you always have some parabola. Like now, right now, this one doesn't seem to be intersecting the y-axis, but wherever it intersects, that's your y-intercept. All right. But wherever they intersect the x-axis, they're called the x-intercepts. Okay, right? So out here, they're not talking about the y-intercept, the x-intercept. So they just want this. Now, remember, whenever you solved a quadratic equation and got the two x values, those two x values you got when you were solving it for 0, right? Yeah, that 0 is nothing but the y. This y value is 0. And so when the y value is 0, remember I told you that when the y value is 0, you end up getting some x-intercept. So the values that you get while solving a quadratic equation, those values are nothing but the roots of the parabola, the roots of the equation, the zeros of the equation, another term. So roots, zeros of the equation, yeah, x-intercepts, they all mean the same thing. Solution set, what is the solution? They all mean the same thing. Yeah, all right. Anyway, so so the question out here is find the x-intercept. So to find the x-intercept, what do you need to do, guys? Very simple. Simply plug in y as 0. All right, and solve it. So 0 is equal to x square plus 6x plus 9, yeah, minus 7. Yeah. So what you have is 0 is equal to x square plus 6x plus 2. Yeah. Now remember the roots formula is minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So out here, if you compare this with the general form ax square, yeah, plus bx plus c, yeah. So this is your a is 1, okay, a is 1, b is 6, and c is 2. Simply substitute these values in the root. So minus of 6 plus minus root of 36 minus 4 into a is 1 into c is 2. The whole thing upon 2 times 1. right? So that is equal to -6 plus minus 36 minus 8 is 28 upon 2. Now minus 6 by 2 plus minus. Now remember, I can write down 28 as 4 times 7 upon 2. So my final answer is the roots are -3 plus minus. Now that root of 4 is 2, right? So 2 root 7 upon 2, because that root of 4 is 2. It, if I break it down as root of 4 and root of 7, root of 4 is 2. So 2 and 2 goes. So the answer is -3 minus root 7 and -3 plus root 7. So this is the find the x-intercepts. So these are the x-intercepts. And obviously it will be a U-shaped parabola. It will be a U-shaped parabola. Okay. There's an app called Desmos. Use that. By simply plugging in this equation, you'll get your graph. Okay, and now we go on to the last question. So also, is the parabola U-shaped? It's a U-shaped parabola. Okay. Last one. Is the point -4, -9 within the region represented by the quadratic inequality? Yeah. So first of all, plot this parabola. How do you plot this parabola? By equating it to 0, like that. Let the y be 0 and solve it. Okay. So I got -5, correct? And I need to get -4. So -5 and 1 gives me -5 and -4. Now remember, I need to flip the sign, but then I'll have to divide it by -1 because I multiplied by -1 to get -5 out here. So my answer remains -5 and 1. So I know at -5 and 1, yeah, I have a inverted U-shaped parabola. Inverted U-shaped parabola, correct? And because it's lesser than everything within this region, right? So -4, 9 is obviously -4 is somewhere here and -9 is somewhere down here. So obviously the point is within the region. And obviously, is the region represented by the inequality within the parabola? It's within the parabola, right? So within the parabola, -4, 9 is within the parabola and the region is also within the parabola. And that's it. That's it. We're done. So guys, remember, this is a detailed review. This is as detailed as I could get. Some people might not find it appealing, but this is how it is, guys. This is all I can do online. Yeah. Thank you very much.